Ryan looked out of the small cockpit window as his shuttle descended through the thick orange clouds of Zerathia. The planet's surface was a mixture of jagged mountains, wide plains, and strange glowing rivers. It was beautiful and dangerous at the same time. Ryan felt his heart beat faster. He had explored many worlds, but Zerathia was different. Every story he had read about this planet described fierce alien tribes, ancient ruins, and strange customs that humans could not understand. As he landed on a flat plain near a river of shimmering blue water, Ryan checked his equipment. His scanner detected signs of life nearby. Not far from the river, he could see movement. Large figures were gathered in a circle, and in the center stood a figure taller than the rest. Her movements were fast and precise. Ryan's eyes widened. It was a warrior, and she held a spear that seemed alive in her hands. Curiosity and caution filled him. He knew he should observe from a distance, but the human need to explore was too strong. He stepped out of the shuttle, his boots sinking slightly into the soft ground. The tribe noticed him immediately. The crowd formed a larger circle, and whispers passed quickly between the alien figures. The warrior in the center turned sharply, her eyes locking on Ryan. He felt a chill run down his spine. Her stance was not threatening at first, but her eyes were sharp, full of intensity. Ryan raised his hand slowly, trying to show he meant no harm. Without warning, she stepped forward. In a smooth motion, she drew back her spear and hurled it toward him. Ryan barely had time to react. His mind froze for a moment, but his body moved faster. He caught the spear in midair. His hands gripped the smooth alien metal, and the tip of the spear glinted in the sunlight. The crowd gasped. The elders, sitting on large stone seats nearby, leaned forward. Ryan felt their eyes on him. He did not understand their language, but he could feel their shock. The warrior stared at him. Her expression shifted from anger to surprise and something else Ryan could not name. One of the elders spoke in a low, commanding tone. The alien words were strange to Ryan, but the gestures made it clear. The law had been broken or fulfilled, he did not know which. The warrior, whose name he would later learn was Tara, stepped back. She kept her eyes on him, wary but respectful. Ryan tried to speak. "I am Ryan from Earth, I mean no harm," he said slowly. He did not know if she understood him, but the gesture of speaking seemed to calm the others. Tara lowered her spear slightly, but the elder's eyes remained on him. One elder stood and approached cautiously. His skin was dark green, and his face had long patterns of markings that shone in the sunlight. He held a staff with carvings that seemed to tell a story. Ryan noticed that the staff had rings that spun in the air as the elder moved. The elder gestured to the spear in Ryan's hands. Then he pointed to Tara. Ryan did not understand. He shook his head slowly. "I don't know your customs. I only caught the spear to defend myself," he explained. Tara's eyes softened slightly, but she remained silent. The elder spoke again, his voice echoing over the plain. The crowd murmured. Then Ryan remembered a line from an old book about Zerathia. The text said that the Valara tribe followed a strict law. If a warrior's spear was caught in combat, the one who caught it could claim the warrior according to ancient custom. Ryan's mind raced. Could this be what the elders were referring to? He had not intended this, yet now he felt the weight of an unseen responsibility. Tara moved closer, her steps measured. She circled him slowly, watching him with an intensity that made his heart pound. Her armor was lightweight but strong, and it glimmered under the sunlight. Her spear was sharp and perfectly balanced. She had thrown it with precision, yet Ryan had caught it. That act apparently had changed everything. Ryan tried to calm himself. He did not want conflict. He only wanted to explore and learn. He held out the spear carefully. "If you wish, I can return it to you," he said. Tara looked at his hands, then at him. She did not take the spear, but she did not attack either. The elder raised his staff, and the crowd became silent. His gestures were slow and deliberate, and Ryan felt the gravity of the moment. He realized that he had stepped into a world where his actions, even accidental, had consequences far beyond his understanding. Tara spoke for the first time. Her voice was clear and strong. "You are the one who caught the spear," she said. Ryan nodded, unsure how to respond. The elder's staff moved again, and Ryan understood that she was bound by their law. He felt a strange mix of awe and concern. "I do not understand your law," he said. "I am not your enemy. I only want to learn about your world." Tara's eyes searched his as if deciding whether to believe him. Finally, she lowered her gaze. It was not submission, but a silent agreement to wait and see. The elders whispered among themselves. Their language was strange, full of clicks and melodic tones. Ryan watched, trying to read their expressions. Some seemed pleased, others cautious. It was clear that the decision would not come quickly. Suddenly, a child ran from the crowd and stopped near Ryan. The child had green skin and bright amber eyes. He pointed at Ryan and giggled. Tara looked down at the child and smiled slightly. The smile was fleeting, but it was the first human-like gesture Ryan had seen on this planet. The elder spoke again, this time slowly and with emphasis. He gestured to Ryan and then to Tara, then made a sweeping motion toward the sky. Ryan felt a chill. It was a signal that the law had been recognized. Whether he wanted it or not, a connection had been made between him and Tara. Ryan swallowed hard. He did not feel ready for this. He had come to Zarathia seeking adventure, not responsibility. Yet here he was, caught in an ancient custom that he barely understood. He looked at Tara. Her eyes were steady, strong, and unwavering. He realized that she was not angry or weak. She was a warrior through and through. For hours, Ryan and Tara stood in the plain. The crowd slowly dispersed, but the elders remained. They gestured to Ryan, telling him to follow them. Reluctantly, he nodded. Tara followed without hesitation, her spear now resting against her shoulder. They walked together, surrounded by alien beauty and the strange sounds of Zarathia. Ryan felt a mix of fear and excitement. This was no ordinary mission. He had been thrown into a culture far beyond his understanding. He had caught a spear and in doing so had unknowingly entered a bond with a warrior unlike any he had ever met. As they approached the edge of the plains, Ryan saw mountains rising in the distance. He wondered what trials awaited him there. He also realized that Tara was more than a warrior. She represented a world that demanded courage, respect, and understanding. That night, Ryan set up camp near a small stream. He tried to rest, but his mind was full of questions. What did the law truly mean? How would Tara react in the coming days? Could he navigate the customs of a people so different from his own? Tara sat across from him, sharpening her spear by the firelight. She did not speak, but her presence was commanding. Ryan watched the sparks rise from the fire, thinking about the day's events. He had survived an unexpected encounter, proven his reflexes, and entered a bond that he did not fully understand. The stars above Zarathia were unlike any Ryan had seen. They shone with colors that shifted subtly, painting the sky with light that seemed alive. He felt small beneath them, yet also a part of something greater. The universe was vast, full of challenges and wonders, and now he was at its center in a way he could never have predicted. Ryan looked at Tara again. She caught his gaze and nodded slightly. It was a simple gesture, but it carried meaning. She had accepted him, at least for the moment, and the bond of the ancient law had begun. He took a deep breath. Tomorrow the real journey would begin. He would have to learn, adapt, and prove himself in a world that was both beautiful and unforgiving. Yet, for the first time in his life, he felt that he was exactly where he was meant to be. Ryan reached for his journal and began to write. He described the plains, the river, the mountains, and the warrior who had thrown the spear. He wrote of the crowd, the elders, and the strange law that had changed everything. And he wrote about the feeling that this encounter was only the beginning of a story far larger than himself. The fire crackled, and the night grew quiet. Ryan closed his journal and looked at the stars. He knew that tomorrow would bring challenges, but he also knew that he was not alone. Tara was there, strong and steady, and together they would face whatever Zarathia had in store. Ryan woke to the sound of wind moving through the tall alien grass. The orange light of Zarathia's sun spilled across the plains, making the rivers glow softly. Tara was already awake, standing by the stream, sharpening her spear with precise movements. Her eyes scanned the horizon, always alert. Ryan admired her skill. He had never seen anyone so focused or disciplined. He stood and stretched, feeling the stiffness from the long day. Catching a spear and surviving the first encounter had left him both proud and anxious. He had entered a world with rules he did not fully understand. He looked at Tara and realized that she expected him to learn quickly. Tara noticed his gaze. She did not smile, but her eyes held a spark of respect. She motioned toward the mountains in the distance. They were jagged and covered in strange blue vegetation. "Today we begin," she said in broken common. the universal language of traders and explorers which Ryan had learned to understand. Ryan nodded. "I am ready," he said, though a part of him worried he might not be. He picked up his pack and followed her. As they walked, Tara explained the rules of Zarathia's land. They were simple at first, but carried a deeper meaning. Respect strength, honor courage, and never break a promise. She did not speak much, but her actions showed more than words could. When they crossed a narrow bridge over a glowing river, she demonstrated balance and patience. Ryan tried to follow, but his footing slipped. Tara's hand reached out instinctively, steadying him. He felt a rush of gratitude. "Thank you," he said, catching his breath. Tara only nodded and moved ahead. It was clear she would not coddle him, but she would guide him where necessary. Hours passed as they climbed toward the mountains. The wind grew stronger, carrying the scent of minerals and vegetation. Strange creatures flew overhead, their wings shimmering in the sunlight. Ryan tried to study them, taking notes in his journal. He was always curious, always seeking knowledge. Tara watched him, intrigued by his determination. Finally, they reached a plateau. From this height, Ryan could see the vast plains below, the rivers winding through the land and the distant forests filled with movement. Tara stopped and turned to him. "This is the first challenge," she said. Ryan waited. She pointed toward a narrow path along the side of the mountain. "You must walk this path alone. It tests balance and focus. One mistake and you could fall. The Valara watch those who enter their land carefully. They respect those who survive challenges," Ryan swallowed. He had walked through dangerous terrain on other planets, but this was different. This path was narrow, with sheer cliffs on one side and a steep drop on the other. The ground was uneven and loose. Ryan took a deep breath and started forward. Tara stayed behind, observing silently. She did not offer advice. He stumbled once, then twice, but he focused on every step. He remembered the lessons from the first encounter: calm mind, steady hand, and courage. Step by step he moved forward. Halfway through, a small rock shifted under his foot. He lost balance for a moment. He could see the drop below and fear gripped him. He thought of Tara, watching silently. He thought of the elders and their expectations. With a deep breath, he adjusted his stance and regained balance. Slowly, carefully, he completed the path. When he reached the end, Tara's eyes showed approval. She nodded. Ryan smiled weakly, exhausted but proud. The first challenge was complete. They rested for a short time. Tara offered him a small piece of fruit from her pack. The taste was sweet and refreshing. "You have courage," she said simply. Ryan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. Courage alone would not be enough, but it was a start. Their journey continued deeper into the mountains. The landscape grew harsher, the air thinner. Strange creatures scurried in the shadows, some curious, some dangerous. Tara moved with ease, leaping over rocks and navigating tight spaces as if the terrain belonged to her. Ryan followed as best as he could, learning from her movements. As they reached a narrow valley, Tara stopped suddenly. She crouched low, signaling him to do the same. Hidden in the shadows were a group of alien hunters. They were armed with energy bows, their eyes sharp and calculating. Tara whispered, "They will test you. Show courage and they will respect you. Show fear and they may attack." Ryan's heart raced. He had never faced a threat like this on Zarathia. He adjusted his stance and moved slowly, following Tara's lead. The hunters watched silently, their expressions unreadable. Ryan realized this was a test of more than skill. It was a test of character, of calm under pressure. One of the hunters stepped forward, pointing a bow at Ryan. Tara's eyes flicked to him. He met the hunter's gaze steadily. He raised his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. The hunter studied him, then lowered the bow slightly. Another hunter stepped forward, testing him with a question in their language. Ryan did not understand the words, but he could sense the challenge. He responded with gestures of respect and calm, mimicking Tara's movements. Slowly, the hunters relaxed. They stepped aside, allowing him to pass. Tara's eyes held pride. Ryan had shown courage and understanding. The trial was a success. After the valley, they came to a wide river with rushing water. A natural bridge of stone stretched across, slick with moss. Tara motioned for Ryan to cross first. He stepped carefully, the stone slippery underfoot. Midway, a strong gust of wind threatened to push him off balance. He focused, taking each step deliberately. He reached the other side safely. Tara crossed with grace, her movements effortless. "You are learning," she said. "Strength is not enough. Mind and spirit must be steady. Ryan nodded. He realized that Zerathia demanded more than physical ability. It demanded understanding, respect, and adaptation. As the day ended, they set camp near a cluster of glowing plants. The light from the plants illuminated their surroundings, casting a soft green glow. Ryan helped gather firewood, though Tara did not need assistance. She taught him how to light a fire using friction and a few tools. Sparks flew, and eventually a small flame flickered to life. They sat by the fire in silence for a while. The mountains were quiet, except for distant sounds of creatures moving in the dark. Ryan looked at Tara. She was sharpening her spear again, her hands steady and precise. He admired her discipline. "Tara, I want to understand your world," he said quietly. "I want to respect your people and your laws. But I need guidance. I am not from here." She paused, looking up at him. Her amber eyes reflected the firelight. "You have courage and curiosity," she said slowly. "These are valued. But respect is earned. Actions speak louder than words. You must prove yourself through trials." Ryan nodded, understanding. The first trial had been balance, the second courage, and more would come. He felt a mixture of fear and excitement. He had entered a world far different from Earth, yet he felt alive in a way he had never experienced. The night grew colder, and the wind blew through the mountains. Ryan and Tara took turns keeping watch. Ryan marveled at the stars above Zerathia, their colors shifting subtly, unlike anything he had seen before. He felt small but connected to something vast and extraordinary. As dawn approached, Tara rose. "We move at first light," she said. "The next challenge is in the Forest of Echoes. There you will face tests of perception and endurance. You must rely on your mind as well as your body." Ryan packed his things and prepared for the journey ahead. He was tired but determined. He had survived the first day of challenges, gained the respect of Tara, and learned a small part of Zerathia's ways. Before leaving, he looked at Tara. "I will do my best," he said. She nodded. No words were needed beyond that. They were companions now, bound by the ancient law and by mutual respect. They set off toward the mountains again, the glowing rivers beneath them and the vast plains stretching far into the distance. Ryan felt a strange thrill. Every step brought him closer to understanding, closer to proving himself in a world that was unforgiving but full of wonder. The journey through Zerathia had only begun, and the challenges ahead promised danger, discovery, and growth. Ryan knew that if he succeeded, he would not only earn the respect of Tara and her people, but also gain knowledge and strength beyond anything he had imagined. Together, they moved forward, two warriors from different worlds, bound by chance and ancient law, stepping into a future filled with trials, adventure, and a bond that would be tested in ways neither of them could yet foresee. The Forest of Echoes stretched before Ryan and Tara, its towering trees casting long shadows under Zerathia's shifting sun. The forest was alive with sound. Leaves rustled in strange rhythms, and distant calls of unseen creatures echoed through the air. Ryan paused at the edge of the trees, feeling both excitement and nervousness. Tara's eyes were sharp, watching him closely as if reading his thoughts. "This forest tests more than strength," Tara said. "It tests perception, trust, and patience. You must listen, observe, and move carefully. One mistake can change everything." Ryan nodded, gripping his pack straps. He knew he had to rely on more than physical ability. His mind needed to be alert, his senses sharp, and his trust in Tara unwavering. Together they stepped into the forest, the light changing as the thick canopy swallowed the sun. Almost immediately the forest seemed alive. Shadows shifted around them, and strange glowing fungi lined the path. Ryan reached out to touch one, but Tara's hand stopped him. "Do not disturb it," she said. "Every part of this forest has purpose. Respect it or it may react." As they walked, small creatures darted between the trees. Some were harmless, curious about the humans, while others moved with silent menace. Tara led the way, her spear ready, her movements precise. Ryan followed, trying to match her calm and careful pace. Hours passed, and the forest grew denser. The trees became taller, their roots forming natural obstacles. Tara stopped suddenly. "Listen," she whispered. Ryan closed his eyes and focused. At first he heard only the wind and distant echoes. Then a subtle pattern emerged, footsteps, faint but deliberate, moving toward them. Tara crouched, signaling him to do the same. From the shadows, two alien figures appeared, armed and alert. Their eyes glowed faintly, reflecting a hunting instinct. Ryan's heart raced, but he remembered Tara's lessons. Courage was not absence of fear, but control of it. The figures approached cautiously, Tara's stance was calm, confident. She did not raise her spear in anger but in readiness. Ryan mirrored her movements, steadying his breathing and keeping his eyes on the approaching beings. One of the figures stopped and spoke in their language, its tone testing and deliberate. Tara answered briefly, then gestured to Ryan. The alien studied him, then made a slow nod. It was clear that the forest trials were not just physical, they involved respect and understanding. Ryan realized that observation and patience could be just as powerful as strength. The aliens passed, leaving them unharmed. Tara exhaled softly. You followed my lead. That is important. Trust is not given lightly here. You must earn it with action and understanding. They continued deeper into the forest. Soon the path narrowed, forcing Ryan to step carefully over twisted roots and slippery moss. The canopy above thickened, making the light dim and eerie. Ryan struggled at first but remembered his previous lessons. Step by step he moved with precision, his mind focused and his trust in Tara guiding him. Suddenly, the ground shook beneath them. From the shadows, a massive creature emerged. Its scales reflected light in shimmering patterns and its eyes glowed amber. Its claws dug into the earth as it advanced, low and predatory. Ryan froze, feeling a rush of fear. Tara moved in front of him, spear ready, her body tense but controlled. The creature growled, a deep rumble that vibrated through the trees. Tara did not hesitate. She moved with speed and precision, dodging the creature's attacks while keeping Ryan behind her. She shouted instructions in short, sharp phrases, guiding him to safe positions. Ryan followed, at first clumsy, but gradually his reflexes and judgment improved. He blocked and dodged with Tara's guidance, his fear transforming into focused action. Finally, the creature paused, studying them, then retreated into the shadows. Ryan exhaled deeply. His heart still raced, but he felt a new confidence. Tara nodded, her expression approving. You have courage and focus. These are necessary for what comes next, she said. They moved further into the forest, encountering more obstacles. Narrow ravines, rushing streams, and hidden pitfalls tested their endurance. Each challenge forced Ryan to rely on observation, problem-solving, and cooperation with Tara. Slowly, a bond grew between them. He began to anticipate her movements, and she learned to trust his judgment in small decisions. At dusk, they found a clearing with a small pool of water. The surface reflected the dim light filtering through the trees, making it seem like a mirror. They set up camp, Tara using her knowledge to find dry wood and safe shelter spots. Ryan observed her actions, learning more with each movement. They ate the simple food Tara had carried and drank from the pool. The forest was quiet, almost peaceful, though Ryan knew danger could appear at any moment. He looked at Tara and felt a deep respect. She was more than a warrior. She was a teacher, guiding him through trials that tested every part of his being. As night fell, strange sounds echoed through the forest. Ryan listened carefully, noting patterns and rhythms. He realized that understanding the environment was as important as defending against threats. Tara watched him silently, pleased with his awareness. During the night, they were awakened by the sound of distant voices. Rival clans, aggressive and territorial, had entered the forest. Tara moved quickly, signaling Ryan to stay low. She explained that these clans often tested travelers, attacking those they considered weak. Ryan's pulse quickened, but he stayed calm, remembering the lessons of courage and observation. The rival clan emerged from the shadows. Their armor glimmered faintly in the dim light and their weapons were sharp. They surrounded Ryan and Tara, speaking in harsh tones. Tara stepped forward, standing tall and firm. We mean no harm, she said. The clan leader studied her, then Ryan. Ryan raised his hand slowly, showing respect. His calm demeanor surprised the clan members. They expected fear, but they saw none. Tara had trained him well. The leader gestured, testing him with a challenge. Ryan followed Tara's guidance, responding carefully and respectfully. After tense moments, the clan stepped back, acknowledging their respect. Tara relaxed slightly. Ryan felt a surge of pride. He had faced creatures and rival clans, proving not only his courage but also his ability to adapt and learn. The night passed without further incident. Dawn brought a new understanding between them. Tara spoke softly. Trust grows in action, not words. You are learning. Each challenge strengthens not just your body but your mind and spirit. Ryan nodded, feeling the truth in her words. He had come to Zarathia seeking adventure, but he was finding growth, understanding, and respect. The trials of the forest were shaping him into someone stronger, someone capable of surviving in a world far different from his own. As they left the clearing, the forest seemed less threatening. Rion moved with confidence, anticipating obstacles and dangers. Tara observed him, her expression proud. The bond between them had strengthened. They were no longer simply companion and guide. They were partners facing the unknown together. By midday, they reached the edge of the forest. The terrain opened into rolling hills, dotted with alien flowers and small rock formations. Ryan looked back at the dense trees. He realized that he had learned more here than he could have imagined. Every creature, every challenge had taught him patience, courage, and trust. Tara led the way to a small village hidden among the hills. The village belonged to a friendly faction of the Valara tribe. They welcomed Tara and observed Ryan with curiosity. Children ran to watch him, and elders studied his actions closely. Rian felt a mixture of nervousness and excitement. He knew that the next trials would test not just his skill, but his ability to earn trust among a wider group of people. The villagers shared food and stories of past warriors. Tara explained little, letting Ryan absorb the culture naturally. He listened carefully, asking questions and observing the ways of the people. Slowly, he felt accepted. The villagers respected strength and courage, but they also valued intelligence, compassion, and honesty. Ryan realized that every part of his being would be tested in the days ahead. That evening, Tara and Rion walked to a hill overlooking the village. The sun set in brilliant shades of orange and purple, reflecting off the rivers and plains beyond. Ryan felt a deep sense of connection to Zerathia. He had survived the forest, faced dangers, and earned trust. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. Tara spoke quietly. Tomorrow you face the final trial of this journey. It will test everything you have learned. Courage, trust, patience, and wisdom. Only then will the elders truly see your worth. Ryan nodded, feeling both nervous and determined. He had learned that Zerathia demanded more than strength. It demanded understanding, respect, and a willingness to grow. He was ready to face whatever came next. As night fell, they prepared for the trials ahead. Ryan reviewed everything he had learned in the forest. He practiced movements, observed the terrain, and reflected on his growing bond with Tara. He understood that the journey was not only about survival but also about trust, honor, and respect. Together they watched the stars above Zerathia, knowing that the next day would bring challenges unlike any they had faced. Rian felt a deep determination to succeed. With Tara by his side, he believed he could face anything. The trials of the forest had strengthened him, but the adventure was far from over. The lessons of courage, observation, and trust would guide him as he stepped into the next chapter of his journey on Zerathia. Ryan and Tara woke to the sound of wind whispering through the hills. The sky was painted in soft shades of pink and gold as the sun rose over Zerathia. They had spent the night in the village, resting and learning more about the ways of Tara's people. Ryan felt stronger, wiser, and more confident, but a sense of unease lingered in the air. Tara sensed it too. Her amber eyes scanned the horizon, noting the movement of distant figures. "We are not alone," she said quietly. Ryan followed her gaze and saw a band of warriors moving toward the village from the north. Their armor glinted in the morning light and their stance was aggressive. "These are from a rival tribe," Tara explained. "They do not respect the law. They see me and you as a threat. They want to claim what is not theirs." Ryan's heart pounded. He had faced creatures and tests, but now he faced intelligent opponents with intent to fight. He checked his gear and adjusted his pack. Tara stood beside him, spear ready, her expression calm but alert. She did not speak, but her presence gave Ryan strength. The rival tribe reached the edge of the village. Their leader, a tall figure with dark scales and a scarred face, stepped forward. He raised his weapon, signaling his followers. Tara stepped in front of Ryan. "We mean no harm," she said firmly. "Leave or face the consequences." The rival leader laughed, a low, harsh sound. "Consequences? You mean death?" he said. His voice carried across the plains. "This warrior belongs to my tribe by right of strength. She is not yours." Tara's grip on her spear tightened. "She is bound by the law you do not understand. Leave or fight and fail," she said. Rian felt a surge of determination. He had trained, faced trials, and gained trust. He would not let these intruders threaten Tara or the village. Together they stepped forward, ready to defend themselves. The battle began with a sudden rush. The rival tribe charged, weapons raised. Tara moved with grace and precision, her spear striking quickly and accurately. Ryan followed her lead, using his knowledge of the terrain and his growing skill to avoid attacks. He blocked, dodged, and countered when necessary. Each movement built his confidence and deepened the bond between him and Tara. The rival tribe was fierce, but Ryan and Tara worked as one. He observed Tara's strategy, predicting her movements, and she adjusted to his actions. They fought side by side, each protecting the other. The villagers watched from a safe distance, inspired by the courage of the two warriors. Despite their skill, the rivals were many, and Ryan began to feel the strain. A warrior leaped from the side, aiming directly at Tara. Ryan reacted instantly, intercepting the attack with his own strength. He pushed the rival away, keeping Tara safe. She looked at him with approval and continued the fight. The battle raged on, the sounds of clashing weapons echoing through the hills. Ryan realized that courage alone would not win the fight. He needed strategy, observation, and trust in Tara. He remembered the lessons of the Forest of Echoes, the importance of patience, perception, and action. Spotting a gap in the rival formation, Ryan shouted to Tara. She nodded, understanding immediately. Together they moved through the gap, striking key opponents and creating confusion. The rival tribe stumbled, unsure how to respond to such coordinated action. Ryan felt a rush of exhilaration. They were not just fighting, they were proving themselves. The rival leader growled, frustrated by their skill. He advanced toward Ryan, swinging a heavy weapon. Ryan dodged, using his agility and quick thinking. He struck back not to kill but to disable. The fight was intense, testing his strength, endurance, and courage. Tara faced another opponent nearby, her spear moving with deadly precision. Ryan watched her, amazed by her skill and calm demeanor. He realized that their bond was more than physical coordination. They understood each other's instincts, thoughts, and intentions. This trust made them stronger than either could be alone. After a long struggle, the rival tribe began to retreat. Their leader, seeing his defeat, called them back. Tara lowered her spear, breathing heavily but composed. Ryan stood beside her, chest heaving but proud. They had defended the village and themselves. The villagers emerged cautiously, their faces filled with relief and admiration. The elders approached, nodding in approval. "You have proven yourselves," one said. "Strength, courage, and trust have guided you. You are worthy." Ryan felt a surge of pride, but he knew the journey was far from over. The rival tribe would return, and Zarathia's challenges were only growing. He also realized that his bond with Tara had deepened. They had faced danger together, and their trust had solidified into something stronger than words. As night fell, Tara and Ryan walked to the edge of the hills. The sky was dark and the stars reflected in the rivers below. Ryan thought about the day's events. He had faced intelligent opponents, learned the value of strategy, and discovered the power of mutual trust. Tara spoke quietly. "You fought well today. You did not falter even when fear was strong. Courage is important, but so is trust and understanding." "Remember that," Ryan nodded. "I have learned that. And I have learned the value of having someone beside me who understands and guides me. You have taught me more than I imagined." Tara's eyes softened slightly. "We are not done. More challenges await. The final test will determine not just skill, but character and heart." Ryan felt a mixture of anticipation and determination. He understood that Zarathia demanded more than bravery. It required respect, wisdom, and the ability to adapt and grow. The bond he shared with Tara was more than law. It was a partnership forged through shared trials. The next morning, they prepared for a journey to the rival tribe's territory. The elders advised caution, but emphasized the importance of facing the challenge directly. Ryan packed carefully, checking his gear and recalling every lesson from the forest and the plains. Tara moved beside him, spear ready, eyes alert to every detail. As they traveled, the landscape changed. Jagged cliffs gave way to rolling plains, and distant mountains marked the rival tribe's territory. Ryan felt the tension rise. He knew the next encounter would test everything he had learned. They approached the rival encampment under the cover of dawn. Ryan observed the guards, noting their positions and patterns. Tara whispered instructions, guiding him through the approach. They moved silently, blending with the terrain, each step calculated and deliberate. Suddenly, a scout spotted them. The alarm sounded and warriors rushed forward. Ryan and Tara did not hesitate. They met the attackers head-on, using their skills, speed, and coordination to defend themselves. Every movement reflected their growing trust. The rival leader emerged again, anger blazing in his eyes. He challenged Ryan directly, swinging a heavy weapon. Ryan dodged and countered, using strategy rather than raw strength. Tara intercepted another attacker, her movements fluid and precise. The fight continued, intense and unrelenting. Ryan felt the strain but remained focused. He realized that courage alone would not win this battle. He needed to think, observe, and act with precision. Tara's presence guided him, and together they became an unstoppable force. Finally, the rival tribe began to retreat, acknowledging their defeat. The leader gave a grudging nod, recognizing the skill and unity of Ryan and Tara. The battle was over and the rival tribe withdrew, leaving the two warriors victorious. Ryan and Tara stood together, breathing heavily but proud. They had faced danger, betrayal, and intelligent opponents, and they had succeeded. The villagers would be safe, and their bond had been tested and strengthened. As they returned to the village, Ryan realized that Zerathia had changed him. He had faced trials that tested every part of his being, learned the value of trust and partnership, and proven himself in a world far different from Earth. Tara spoke softly as they walked. "You have grown stronger, not just in body but in mind and heart. The trials are not over, but you are ready for what comes next." Ryan nodded, feeling a deep sense of determination. He had survived the challenges, earned respect, and formed a bond that could not be broken easily. Together, he and Tara would face the next part of their journey, ready for whatever Zerathia had in store. The night fell quietly over the village. Ryan reflected on the day's events, feeling gratitude for Tara's guidance and the lessons he had learned. Courage, trust, patience, and strategy had all been tested, and he had grown stronger because of them. The bond between Ryan and Tara had deepened beyond law or obligation. It was a partnership built on respect, trust, and shared experience. They would face the future together, united and ready for the challenges yet to come. Tomorrow, the final trials of Zerathia would begin, and Ryan knew that the lessons of courage and trust would guide him through whatever dangers lay ahead. The sun rose over the plains of Zerathia, casting a golden light on the village. Ryan stretched, feeling the strength and confidence that had grown in him over the past days. The challenges of the forest and the battles with rival tribes had tested his courage, mind, and endurance. But today felt different. Today marked the final stage of their journey together, the moment when the bond between him and Tara would be recognized fully by her people. Tara was already awake, moving quietly through the village. She adjusted her armor and checked her spear, her movements calm, precise, and deliberate. Ryan admired her focus. She had taught him more than he could have imagined. Her discipline, skill, and understanding of Zerathia's customs had guided him through trials that would have broken a lesser person. Ryan joined her at the edge of the village. "Are you ready for today?" he asked. Tara looked at him, her amber eyes reflecting determination. "The elders will observe everything. Strength, courage, and wisdom will be tested, but you have already proven much. Now it is time to show who you are, fully." They walked together toward the ceremonial grounds where the elders had gathered. The villagers lined the path, watching silently. Their faces showed respect and curiosity, waiting to see how the human would perform. Ryan felt a mixture of pride and nervousness. He had faced trials before, but this was different. Every action, every choice would be observed and judged. The ceremonial grounds were wide and open, with stone markers and symbols carved into the earth. The elders took their places, their eyes sharp and discerning. Tara stood beside Ryan, her posture firm, her presence commanding. She was not just a warrior. She was a leader in her own right, and Ryan understood that. The first test began immediately. The elders signaled them to demonstrate skill and teamwork. A series of obstacles appeared: walls, narrow paths, and platforms designed to challenge balance and coordination. Ryan and Tara moved in sync, using their combined knowledge and trust to navigate the obstacles. Step by step, they crossed the challenges. Ryan noticed that his confidence had grown since the first day. He moved with precision, anticipating Tara's guidance while also making independent decisions. Tara adjusted effortlessly to his actions, their movements becoming a seamless display of cooperation. The elders nodded in approval. "They understand each other," one said. "They are not merely teacher and student. They are partners." Next, the challenge of courage appeared. A large creature, massive and imposing, emerged from the shadows of the ceremonial grounds. Its scales glimmered in the sunlight and its eyes shone with a predatory intelligence. Many would have fled, but Ryan and Tara stood their ground. The creature charged and Tara moved first, her spear striking with precision. Ryan followed, using his speed and strategy to avoid attacks and protect both of them. They coordinated perfectly, anticipating each other's movements. Their trust was evident in every action. After a tense struggle, the creature retreated, recognizing the strength and unity of Ryan and Tara. The elders observed silently, impressed not only by their skill but by the bond that allowed them to act as one. The final test was one of wisdom. The elders presented them with a series of puzzles, challenges that required observation, understanding, and careful thinking. Ryan and Tara studied each problem together, combining human ingenuity and Valera experience. Ryan suggested solutions based on logic and analysis, while Tara offered insights from her knowledge of the land and her people. Step by step, they solved each challenge, demonstrating not only intelligence but also the ability to work together as equals. The elders watched with quiet approval. This test was not about strength or speed, but about character. Ryan had grown in courage, patience, and understanding. Tara had learned to trust his judgment and insight. Together, they had completed the trials fully and honorably. Finally, the elders rose. One stepped forward, raising a hand to signal the villagers to be silent. "Ryan of Earth," he said, his voice strong and clear. "You have faced the trials of Zerathia with courage, wisdom, and respect. You have earned the trust of the Valara and of Tara. The ancient law has been fulfilled, and your bond is recognized fully." A wave of relief and pride washed over Ryan. He looked at Tara, who met his gaze with a rare smile. The moment was solemn yet filled with warmth. He had not only survived Zerathia's challenges, but had grown stronger in mind, body, and spirit. The villagers approached, offering gestures of respect and welcome. Children ran to observe, inspired by the courage and skill of Ryan and Tara. Elders shared nods of approval, recognizing the unique partnership that had formed. Tara turned to Ryan. "You have honored the law and the spirit of Zerathia. Your bond is not only recognized by custom but by respect and trust," she said. Ryan nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. He had come to Zerathia seeking adventure, but had found growth, understanding, and companionship. The lessons of courage, observation, and trust had guided him to this moment. They spent the rest of the day exploring the ceremonial grounds with the villagers. Ryan learned more about the history of Zerathia, the customs of the Valara, and the strength of their culture. Tara explained her people's ways, sharing wisdom and knowledge that could not be found in books or recordings. As the sun set, painting the sky in brilliant shades of red and gold, Ryan and Tara walked to a hill overlooking the village. The rivers below shimmered in the fading light, reflecting the stars that would soon appear. Ryan felt a deep connection to this world, to its people, and to Tara. "This is only the beginning," Tara said softly. "There is much to see, to learn, and to protect. Zerathia is vast, and our journey continues." Ryan smiled, feeling the truth in her words. "I am ready," he said. "With you, I feel I can face anything." The night grew calm, and the village settled into quiet peace. Ryan reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From the moment he caught Tara's spear to the trials of the forest and the battle against the rival tribe. He had grown in ways he could not have imagined. He realized that the bond he shared with Tara was more than law or custom. It was built on respect, trust, and shared experience. It was a partnership forged through challenges and strengthened by courage and understanding. Over the next days, Ryan and Tara explored Zerathia together. They traveled through forests, crossed rivers, and climbed mountains, discovering the beauty and danger of the land. Ryan's human knowledge combined with Tara's tribal wisdom allowed them to navigate the terrain, understand creatures, and solve problems that neither could manage alone. They helped villagers rebuild after small conflicts, protected travelers from dangerous creatures, and shared their knowledge to improve safety and understanding. Each day brought new challenges, and each day strengthened their bond. Ryan learned to appreciate the depth of Zerathia's culture. He understood that strength alone was not enough to survive and thrive. Respect, wisdom, and trust were equally important. Tara's guidance allowed him to grow in all these areas, and in turn he contributed his human perspective to the partnership. One evening, As they rested beside a glowing river, Tara spoke. You have become more than a traveler or a warrior. You are part of this land, part of our story. Zerathia has accepted you, and I have learned to trust you fully. Ryan looked at her, feeling a deep sense of connection. I never imagined I could belong somewhere so far from home, he said. But with you, I feel at peace. We have faced challenges, danger, and uncertainty together, and we have grown stronger. Tara nodded, her expression serious yet warm. The bond we share is not only law but understanding and trust. That is stronger than any challenge we may face in the future, Ryan smiled. Then we face the future together, he said. The stars above Zerathia shone brightly, reflecting in the rivers and illuminating the plains. Ryan and Tara sat side by side, knowing that their journey was only beginning. The planet was vast, full of wonder, danger, and opportunity. But they were ready. Together they could explore, protect, and learn. The ancient law had brought them together, but their respect, courage, and trust had made the bond unbreakable. They were partners, warriors, and companions ready to face whatever challenges awaited them on Zerathia. As night deepened, Ryan and Tara rose, their eyes on the horizon. The adventure of their lives was only beginning, and the bond they shared promised strength, growth, and hope for the future. Zerathia was no longer just a distant world. It was a home, a place of learning, and a land that had tested and honored them both. Together, they stepped forward, ready to face the unknown, knowing that courage, trust, and unity would guide them through every trial, every challenge, and every adventure that lay ahead. Ryan felt a sense of completion and new beginnings. He had caught the spear, faced the trials, earned respect, and discovered the true meaning of partnership. Tara walked beside him, their bond stronger than any law, deeper than any challenge. The future awaited them, and they were ready to embrace it fully together.